Teaching during the pandemic has forced us to rethink how we teach. Teaching music is a very interactive thing. We have to hear the students, we have to see how they do things from a physiological standpoint, and we also have to discuss musical and technical concepts. It can be tricky to have all those components in a lesson without that 3D dimension. By using the computer screen and the camera in a creative way, you can address technical issues from both the left and the right hand technique. Teaching a lesson virtually can also hinder our sense of freedom if we feel bound to the screen. I try to use the screen almost as a stage when I look at my students, and I try to use my studio space as a concert space for the student looking in. This allows us to work on stage presence and sound projection. And for most of the semester, all the way to the Thanksgiving break, UWM gave us the option to teach hybrid classes. I decided to keep my private lessons virtually, but the chamber music coachings face-to-face. And by using the recital hall, we were able to remain safe at all times.
So I think having chamber music in person is, I think, a nice way to connect and not have everything be online, but simultaneously feel really safe that we're in the recital hall, there's lots of space. So sometimes I lose motivation, which I think is pretty common for a lot of people right now, and it doesn't always make me want to practice. But then when I'm 10 minutes into practicing, it reminds me that this is a form of de-stressing, a way to de-stress and feel more centered during a time when so much is unknown.
It's hard to be a musician and then be on your own. I miss, just being on campus, being in the music department, and just running into people. I can set up for a practice session in a practice room, and I pause for a moment and I hear, and I'm like, oh, Ellen's next door, and I can just take that moment and go say hi and check in, and I kind of miss that atmosphere that is on a college campus, and having it just ending abruptly, and now here you are, you're on your own, kind of isolated. I think that was hard to adjust to at first.
The biggest challenge, of course, during that pandemic has been for our students. They are deprived of their normal social interaction, and they have not been able to rely on jobs and concert opportunities that in normal times help them pay their tuition and their living expenses. For our music students specifically, that feeling of isolation has been heightened. Without the bustle of daily activities on campus, they are left on their own organizing their schedule. And in a way, this reminds me of when I was a young musician, spending many hours daily practicing my violin and just having 2 contact hours with a teacher a week. This increased time alone can bring both a sense of comfort or anxiety for some. Our students have had to relearn how to be at ease spending time alone in their practice space. The pandemic, of course, has forced us to look at what is essential in our daily lives. For us musicians and for our music students, it is the commitment to consistency, concentration, and care. And it's been wonderful to see our students refocus on their instruments and on training. They have regained a new sense of responsibility and commitment to their craft.
Throughout this whole pandemic, I've gotten really much closer to my violin. We spent a lot more time together, which is, I guess, one of the good sides about this whole pandemic. I do really miss playing with a lot of my friends, but I do feel like I'm getting closer to reaching my goal and just getting a better relationship with my instrument.
Trying to keep the flow of communication open between us, of course, has helped keep a sense of normalcy throughout these difficult times. Organizing virtual class recitals and master classes Keeping a sense of community despite the isolation and confinement has been a top priority. Our weekly masterclasses or studio classes offer the perfect setting to do this. The class allows students to play for each other, to see each other, to give constructive criticism to each other, and to hone their concert and pedagogical skills. I was also happily surprised and amazed at the ease and the cost effectiveness to invite violinists and colleagues to give guest masterclasses. This past semester I was also able to present several masterclasses to colleagues in the United States and abroad. And again, this was really wonderful to be able to present, because in normal times I wouldn't be able to take the time off during the academic year to travel to so many different places. And this academic exchange fosters a sense of support with our greater musical community and to stay energized and inspired.